Hello dear viewers, in this video I would like to talk about your IELTS writing task 1, and for that I have taken this line graph. But my main aim here that whatever graph or chart you get, you can interpret it very easily and you understand what exactly you need to do in your test. So let's get started with this specific line graph. For this line graph, the first piece of information we get is about the instruction. And here instruction said you should spend about 20 minutes on this task. After that we'll get a box, and in the box the first part of the box said about the general information or the introduction about this line graph. The graph below shows average carbon dioxide emissions per person in the United Kingdom, Sweden, Italy and Portugal between 1967 and 2007. By the way, if you are getting bar chart or pie chart, the first part of the box will tell you again the introduction about that. Now let you understand the second part of the box. This part of information is extremely important for us because this is a very specific instruction, and if you can follow this in our writing, then we'll be able to get good score. Otherwise we cannot. But good news is this piece of information is the same you will get for every type of presentations, no matter whether you are getting pie chart or diagram or process. The instruction would be exactly the same as it is seen here. Summarize the information by selecting and reporting the main features and make comparisons where relevant. Now let you understand each of the part of the instruction. The first part of the instruction said that summarize the information. What does it really mean by summarizing the information? Summarizing the information means that we need to take the most important information out of this line graph and we need to write it very briefly. On top of that, we cannot provide any kind of data. For example, exactly how much it was increasing or exactly how much it was decreasing. Secondly, IELTS said us by selecting and reporting the main features. We need to make reporting by selecting the most important information from this graph. So for that, in the case of reporting, we cannot change any kind of data that's been provided in here. We cannot exaggerate it, or the way it's been presented, we cannot distort it in any way. On top of that, we cannot provide our personal opinion as well. No opinion, no observation, no suggestion, no prediction. And very importantly, whatever you say, everything should be supported with data. In the case of making summary, no specific data, for example, how much it is increasing or decreasing. However, in the case of reporting, whatever you say should be supported with correct data. And finally, make comparisons where relevant. It means that you need to make comparisons where it is really important. If it's not important to make comparisons, you should not make comparisons or show comparisons in your writing, because that will interfere with this instruction and as a result you will get less score. And after the box, you'll get very general piece of information here that write at least 150 words. To get good band score, if you're writing less than 150 words, your score will be compromised. And here we see average carbon dioxide emissions per person 1967 to 2007. In this case, you are getting the introduction part again. The way you saw the introduction in the box, just the same piece of information has been said very briefly in this case as well. So whatever graph or chart you get, you will find almost the same in your case as well. By the way, now let you understand how to make summary. In order to make summary, we'll take the most important information. And how do we get most important information? We'll try to make trend and exception. So trend exception. What does it really mean by trend? It means we'll try to look at the graph and try to find some common features. So the features will be common, we'll put in this group, in the trend group, and others we'll put in the exception group. So let us consider this line graph and we'll put the information in trend and exception. So for this graph, what we're gonna do, we'll try to find out the trend. What's the trend in here? If you look at very carefully, you can see this. In that case, there are 4 countries have been mentioned, and here is the time frame, and here is the carbon dioxide emission in metric tons. So if we look at the graph very carefully, we see that for Italy and Portugal, it was increasing along the period of the time. However, in the case of United Kingdom and Sweden, most cases they were in the declining trend. So what we can put in that trend group is the 2 countries which are showing increasing trends, almost all cases. So it's for Italy and Portugal. And for exception group, we can put the other 2 countries. And we'll write our summary part, but in the case of summary, you already know we should not provide any kind of data. So how we can make? We can say that for Italy and Portugal, most cases carbon dioxide emission had been increasing over the period of time. However, for the United Kingdom and Sweden, it was declining. So this is how we can make the summary part. And what are the logical places to make comparisons? Again, we will see the graph. In this case, you can make comparisons where United Kingdom and Sweden came very close to each other. We also can mention this part where Sweden and Italy were at the same point, and also this case in which we see that in 2007 Sweden and Portugal met in the same kind of data. By the way, another piece of information which is really giant, we can provide, for example, at the initial time, at the beginning of the time frame, we see that carbon dioxide emission per person among the countries, there is huge difference. But at the end of the time in 2007, the difference was narrowed and there's very less differences among the countries. That's how we can make comparison in our writing. So now the question is how we can manage our writing organs or the parts of the writing. So the first part of our writing going to be introduction, introduction. And for introduction, what we can do, we'll take the same piece of information from here and we'll just paraphrase it. The first piece of information from this box, and we need to paraphrase it. And after that, we'll write the overall part. In fact, overall part is the summary part. And for that, we will write the trend and exception, as I said in here, and without providing any data. And after that, we will write the B1 and then B2. It means body paragraph 1 and body paragraph 2. For body paragraph 1, we will write the trend 1, for the Italy and carbon dioxide and Italy and Portugal. And for body paragraph 2, we can write about the other 2 countries, United Kingdom and Sweden. And along with this, we can also make comparisons where it is relevant. So this is how you need to interpret the graph or chart, whatever you get it, no matter whether it's a process or diagram or a pie chart or bar chart, the process would be the same. You need to look at it, you need to think about the summary, you need to think about reporting with very important features. Not everything should be included in there, and you need to find some very logical places where you can make comparisons. I hope you really understand this. Thanks for watching.